Level Up Latina partners with working women and mamas alike to guide them in achieving fulfilling career and life goals through financial empowerment, professional or leadership coaching, and personal wellness. Find the unique coaching you need to succeed.
You're listening to Vettel, Ceci, and Irene, and we are Level Up Latina.
Welcome to another episode of the Level Up Latina Summer Series, Summer 2025 series. This will be episode 5 of the summer series, but overall episode 301. And today we are going to be talking randomly about funny and embarrassing moments, being at the last episode of July. So before we get into the embarrassing stuff, let's check in aquí con mis co-hosts Vero y Irene. ¿Cómo están?
Good. We just had a business meeting. I'm so proud of us. Every time we have business meetings, they're not easy to have. They're also a little fun sometimes, but they're good to have. So believe it or not, we are business partners, not just shit talker partners. nonsense talking partners.
Bien, gracias a Dios, sobrevivimos la business meeting. We're here, we're podcasting, and then
I almost spit out my coffee. Are you now trying to kill me in this meeting? Are you trying to kill me in this meeting?
No. But it feels nice to be here, and I have guajolotes, ¿cómo se llama? Gallos in my chest because I've been sick. But thankfully, good. Aquí presente y lista para platicar.
Sí, cierto aquí, just finished the business meeting. It was long, it was good, but it's like, it's as a business owner, it's necesario. And, the three of us bring something to the table, something different to the table. And so aquí estamos. So to move us into today's topic, I thought about this because one, it's the summer series, something quick, something cute, and something fun. But also I was having a conversation with one of my cousins recently, and we were talking about dates gone bad. And she told me a story that was hilarious. And I was like, oh my God, can I share that on the podcast? Because it's hilarious. So that got me to think, let's talk about funny stuff. Let's talk about the embarrassing moments. So I'll go ahead and get started. Let's talk about if you've ever encountered something embarrassing during a date. Something, it could be a date with your significant other, maybe an ex, or even just one-on-one dates with our kids these days. So this particular story was given to me by my cousin, who at the time was, this probably was 15 years ago, was dating a Black woman. And, Black woman, they have their braids. And so she told me that they had gone to the movies, and I want to say that it was their first date, and she was getting all cutesy with her and started playing with her hair, how we like to, caress the hair. And all of a sudden she realized that she had a braid in her hand. It had become loose from her head. And she was so embarrassed. She didn't know what to do, that she just tossed it in the air. And the braid lands in the popcorn bucket of someone else, like of another patron at the theater. And the guy goes, oh my God, what the hell is this, a braid? And she was so embarrassed. She was mortified. And basically this girl that she was dating at the time said, you never mess with a Black woman's hair. Like, that's not cool, whatever. And that she's like, oh my God, I was mortified. They ended up, dating sometime and then eventually broke up. But how funny. ¿Te imaginas, you're caressing and, terminas con la trenza en la mano?
Lo bueno que fue una trenza, güey. Imagínate you end up with a dick in your hand. I'm just kidding.
Of course. But me, myself, I can't think of anything embarrassing as far as dates right now. Have you guys ever had an embarrassing moment during a date?
I don't know if during a date, but with a significant other. Did I already share this one on the podcast? It's deeply embarrassing with my ex and his mom. You guys know the story, but I haven't shared it on the podcast.
The stairs?
Yes. Have I already shared that on the podcast?
I don't know.
I'll have to share it again for new
listeners. Share it again for the new listeners.
I'm going to share it with a disclaimer because I'm getting older. And I used to be very chatty. And if I'm ever in a future job interview and you listen to this episode, forgive me for being a complete human and having stories about my life. This is a very old story. I was in high school. So you can also chalk it up to age. And if my family is listening, turn this off. So, I was with my ex and it was getting hot and heavy. And we thought nobody was home. And he was on the staircase and, one thing led to another. And I was providing pleasure to this gentleman. That's how we'll say it. And suddenly we hear like a creaking at the top of the stairs. And we both look up and he looks like behind him because he's like laying on the stairs. So he like looks up all awkward, you know, like behind him, eyes behind him. I just look up and I'm like kind of on all fours, of course, hilarious. And I just see this person appear and it's his mama, like she's in her muumuu. I could have died. I crawl away. I'm so freaking embarrassed. He's so embarrassed. He gets up, he adjusts himself. I run out of there as fast as I can. I had to drive back to like, it was my summer school break. I'm with a friend and she's like, are you okay? I'm like crashing into curbs because I couldn't think. I was so fucking embarrassed. And I just kept replaying it. So I avoided his mom. I feel like I have said this on the podcast already. And his sister was my best friend for years. We grew up together. We were the homies. We were cheerleaders together. And she's like, what's going on with you, my family? You haven't been around. Like, you guys are being weird. And I'm like, no, nothing. And then you don't have the words when you're in high school. Like, you think you say everything, but you really can't tell people things. You're like embarrassed, especially when it's about you. And her brother, and imagine that visual for her too. So I guess his mom had like set him down and was like, you don't have to be embarrassed. Like, you guys are a couple, you've been together. When people love each other, just always respect her. Like, she handled it so well. Like, set him down, talk to him because his mom was like, you're avoiding me. You're my son. You live in this house. Like, let's talk about what happened. I'm like, God, they were so like advanced as a family. Anyway, I don't see her. I'm like avoiding her. I'm so embarrassed. I don't tell anybody in my life back then. Only he knew. And then one random day, I run into her at Shakey's, and I'll never forget that I see her, and I don't think about it. So I'm like, hola, ¿cómo está? And I run to hug her right by the bunch of lunch buffet. And as my lips touch her cheek, que me acuerdo, I could have died again. I could have died again. So I kind of back up, and I'm sure she knew my energy. I'm sure she knew that. I was like, okay. And I like walk away all like embarrassed. And I think at that moment, I think it was with my friend Ramon. I feel like I was with Ramon. And I think I told Ramon because I was like, oh my God, I want to see her. We got to go. I want to like sit next to her. I want to look at her again. So naturally, ya con tiempo ya pasó. And I was with this gentleman 3 years or 4 years before that. I was with him like 3 years, 4 years after that. We were a long-standing, crazy relationship for the age. Great family. But that's a super duper fucking embarrassing moment with a significant other. So embarrassing.
Oh my God. Yeah, I felt that. I felt that for sure. ¿Y tú, Vero? And I want to say that you have something similar to
Oh my
that,
God. Girl. It just came back to me too, Vero. It just came back to me. We both already told this on the podcast.
Yeah.
I think, I definitely shared it on the podcast, that one. But I wanted to share a different one when I was like I was trying to date Otto, but we weren't really dating. We would just like meet up for like the movies, or when we were both in town and like, let's do dinner. So one time we were like, oh, let's go to the movies. Like, sure. And it was during the summer. It was really hot and I wore shorts. Cute top, and like, you know, whatever, like try to look cute because I was trying to impress Otto, my now husband. He's like, oh, let's go to the movie theater that has the bar so we can have a drink and then go into the movie, whatever. So I was like, okay, cool. But the whole time I'm like so nervous, like being there with him. Like I'm so nervous. And I'm like sweating, but I'm like, you know, whatever, having a drink, trying to play it off. I finally cooled down like for my face, but my legs and my legs the chairs were leather. So estaban bien calorientas mis piernas. When I got up, you guys, estaba empapada de sudor. And like he tries to help, like he gets up. He was being a super gentleman. He was like he got up first. He like moved his seat, pushed it back. And then he goes to proceed to help me out of my fucking chair.
Oh no.
And like with la mano, and I'm just like, oh my God, no. I get up and I could feel the wetness, like between my, like in my legs, between my legs.
Like a fish out of water, Vero. Like a fish out of water.
I should have just spilled the drink on myself. Oh my God.
Oh, there you go. That would have been
You know?
smart.
I should have done that, but I was just like, oh. And he kind of like made this face like, oh shit. Like, because la silla cuando la volteé a ver estaba mojada. Okay. And I was just like, oh. I'm like, it's just really hot. And he was like, yeah, it is hot. And you know, didn't make a big deal. But yo quería morir. I was like, oh my God, my shorts are fucking wet. They were like light jean colored. Like denim. Sorry, I'm choking. They were like a light jean. And I'm like, now they're dark fucking blue. They're dark blue.
Oh,
and
no.
they're sweaty.
Oh,
and I felt wet y todo. And I was just like, ay, qué vergüenza. And he just admitted to me, like, no big deal. Pero yo muriéndome por dentro because I dejé empapada la silla, empapada los pinches chores. Y ahí voy trying to be cute. And he's going to be like, why does this sweaty girl want to be next to me now? You know, like I felt like weird. But anyway, that was a very, for me, embarrassing moment where I'm like, damn, dude, he probably thinks I just peed myself. And no, it's just really on my sweat from being nervous and excited to be with him. But at the same time, it's hot as fuck. So I think that was the most recent. Embarrassing.
I'm trying to think of moments as like an adult, and like I think when you're older, you repress. Because I'm like, I know I've been embarrassed and stuff as of late, pero como que no me acuerdo. Your brain is like, don't remember it, don't remember. I'm trying
I
to
don't think we repress it. We're just like, well, that's what life is.
That's what it is. I know.
You know,
maybe it doesn't get burned into our psyche like when we're young.
Something happened to me recently, and it was the weekend of the girls had their first communion. We also celebrated we renewed our vows for our 10th wedding anniversary that just happened this past weekend. So the following Sunday, I think, or Monday, whatever it was, we had rented we rented chairs, tables for the party, and a guy came to pick them up. And so, and then they had installed ¿cómo se le llama? Like una tolda. What is it called? I can't think of the word in English. What is it called?
a tarp.
A tarp.
The tarp?
Like that. Yeah, the tarp. So, it takes a while to assemble and disassemble. So the guy came in and out, was, disassembling it, putting back. And I totally forgot he was here. And I was washing the dishes, cleaning or whatever. And I was like singing at the top of my lungs, a song that I had made up about like Luis and I being like engaged. And then we got married. And like I started singing, Estábamos comprometidos. And I was like, at the top of my lungs, and I'm coming down the stairs. You guys have been here. Coming down the stairs, and then me topo con el señor, like the gentleman, and he looks at me. He's like, "Ay, disculpe," and I felt my face just turn red, and I just, kind of like de reversa went back upstairs, and then Luis like, "What?" I was like, "I totally forgot the guy was still here," and I'm singing. He's like, "Chula, it's okay, pa que sepa you're happy," and I'm like, "I know, pero qué vergüenza, y si esta señora loca cante y cante, como la chimoltrufia." So that was something recently that happened. It also made me think, well, as adults, and this is, I was younger, I was in my 20s. One time también we were at Mass with Lisette. We were at Mass, and there was a lady who, during La Paz, en aquel tiempo people were still shaking, it was pre-COVID, it was like in 2008, 2009, por ahí. But people would still shake their hand for during the sign of the peace. La Paz?
La Paz.
La Paz. And I remember this lady sitting next to me, and I thought she was just being really friendly, and me dio la mano, and yo la saludé de beso. And she looked at me like, "I'm just trying to get through, lady. Like, why are you kissing me?" And Lisette looks at me like, "¿Quién es tu amiga?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, I don't know her. I don't know why I just kissed her." I thought she was pulling me in para saludarme de beso, but she really wanted to kind of get through para, to get out of the pew. So that was an embarrassing moment with me at church as an adult, younger adult. But again, most recently was here at my own house, singing at the top of my lungs in front of that gentleman that came to, pick up the chairs and tables.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Any other funny or embarrassing moments as adults at church, at home, with your parents? Anything that you can think of?
Oh my God, I've had so many. I mean, church always was embarrassing, I think, because there's just too many eyes on you. There's always, no matter what you do, there's so many eyes on you. Like, I have tripped as I'm, trying to like get through the people, because se llenaba mucho de gente. And I recibe la comunión, you take, you drink the wine and whatever, and then you're walking back to your place and you're trying to walk back, like, poised, but then like con prisa to get back to your spot so that you can pray. And one of them I tripped. I think one time as I was going to take, like, it was either la hostia or I was going to drink from the cup, se me salió like a burp, like a loud ass burp. But it's just like, qué vergüenza, like things like that where I'm just like, I don't want to go to church anymore, like, please. Or, like you get up and like you're vestidito, and I hate it wearing dresses, right? You guys know me. Like, I'm more of like skirt or pants, very tomboyish. But whenever my mom would make me wear a dress and que se te pegaba el pinche vestido en el calzón or like something, like, I don't know, like I feel like when I would go to Mass, there was going to be an embarrassing moment. And I used to sing in the choir and just like everyone looking at you. I felt like even being part of the choir was embarrassing, but I liked singing, so I was there. Pero I felt like anything that had to do with like church, I'm like, va a pasar algo, like something. If it's not to me, it's going to be to someone in here. Everyone just be ready. Like I don't know.
That's how I feel. I was trying to think of like my church ones, and I couldn't think of anything for me, but I always remember there was once when we all were going up for our first communion. We were all going up to get communion for the Eucharist, and we're all like, amen, amen, amen. And then they get to Noah, and little Noah just had a brain fart, so he's just like, thank you. And then he's like, and he walks away. He's like, I said thank you. And I'm like, at least you said something. But he felt so embarrassed. Then he didn't want his older siblings to know. His older siblings like, what did you say? What did you say? And he's like, look at me like, please don't tell him I said thank you. Like, it's okay, Papa. He just said thank you. Meant to say amen. And he was just so mortified. You know, little kids. But he was just like, thank you. Like he says it with like a question mark. Speaking of which, it was a funny moment too when this it didn't happen to us, but we were also going up for communion, and we had just finished, and we see that they're giving to the last few people, and the priest like runs out, so he walks away. And so everyone starts to go to the lady next to him. And then she looks at her thing and she's like, oh, I ran out too. So she walks away. And like 6 people are standing there and we are cracking up because they're looking around like, why did everyone walk away? And me and the kids are like, are they just going to leave them there? And then everyone around us in front of the church is looking around like, those 6 people are still in line. And they slowly but surely like do the Homer Simpson, like walk back or walk forward. And the priest and the lady, his assistant, just both walked away. Everyone's like, it's somebody else's problem. But the people in the corners had already walked away. So they left people just standing there. I'm sure that was a little embarrassing at church, but I can't think of any other super embarrassing things that have happened at church. I'm sure they have.
I'll give you my ultimate embarrassing one. When there was that, you know, when there's always the family that you see every time. And I was little still, okay, mind you, I was a child, a baby myself, but maybe 6, maybe 7 years old. I don't know. I was a kid. Why would you give anyone to carry a kid like Gali's age, right? Right. So I turned around and there was this family that and then they had this beautiful baby. And every time I would just like, look at the baby. I'm like, oh, you know, un día la señora me dice, ¿lo quieres cargar? And I go, sí, me da el bebé y que se me cae el bebé, güey. And
shut up.
Horacio will never let me leave this memory in I want to repress it so hard. He will not let me outlive it, okay? Horacio's like, is that why you don't go to church anymore? Because you drop babies? And I'm like, that baby fell so hard, okay? He hit la banca, he hit the bench, and then he flipped, and then hit where you kneel.
Why
and then hit the floor.
Give you that baby?
And
Lo soltaron, you know?
Sí, güey, pues yo que iba a saber. I was just like, but I was just so excited to hold this baby. Me lo dieron, and then it just slipped from my hands. And I just remember looking at the baby, and then I looked up at the mom, and the mom's like esa cara de que, oh my, and it was just like, oh shit. And my parents were both like, oh fuck, you know?
Oh my God.
It was embarrassing. And that's to this day will be the most embarrassing church memory for me.
That was not your fault.
Yeah, I want to say that, but it's like, qué vergüenza, ya no puedo ir a misa.
Yeah,
no puedo ir a misa.
Why would they give you a baby though?
Or like, we hope Horacio would see babies in wheelchairs. And this is, you know, and that's my brother, if everyone wants to know. And he'd be like, oh, look, is that the baby that you dropped when it was like when we were at church? And I'm like, shut the front door, dude. Let me like live, okay? But yeah. Anyway, sorry, Ceci. That was my embarrassing moment as a kid.
Okay, so I have to share one about my mom. Que Dios la tenga en su santa gloria. But she, in her lifetime, she had a lot of embarrassing moments. Una vez se cayó, like, yendo para agarrar la, you know, the ashes on a Wednesday. Se cayó varias veces en su vida, you know, and she was like embarrassed and would get back, chingada madre, you know, about it. But one of the funniest moments was one evening, this was before I got married. I was still living at home with my parents. And one evening, you know, we were watching a movie or something in the living room and she was sitting next to me. I got up for like a second and like in that second, like she proceeded to lay down on the couch. Like she proceeded to, I don't know why, because I had just gotten up to get something and I go back and I freaking sit on her face and I felt her face. So I like immediately like dart back up and she gets up and la pobre, sus lentes were all chuecos. Le dice, hombre, and she looks at me. I'm like, hombre, tú, I'm like, you're the one that like just laid down. I was sitting here, you know. My sister, my ex-brother-in-law, they were like cracking up. Like Aníbal, mi ex-cuñado, he was like llorando de la risa because my mom got up and her glasses were all crooked. And we would always remember that. And we'd still remember, oh my God, remember when you sat on my mom's face? Like, pobre. I'm like, Mom, but why would he, like, I was sitting next to you. Like, I was in the same position. I was literally going to sit back down. Like, ¿por qué te acostaste, you know? So that's a funny moment. Embarrassing.
I told you the ones about my dad. Have I told you guys the ones about my dad with the water hose? The water hose when I was a kid. Maybe I said it, but he was. I'm with them at one of their big houses. They used to garden. They used to be landscapers for these big, beautiful houses. They were for like Quincy Jones, all these great big houses, Beverly Hills, Bel Air. So he was like watering different parts of this big house, and so we were kind of far away. And he's like, "Turn on the water hose again for me." So I go to turn on the water hose, pretty far away from him. And I don't know that he doesn't need me to turn it on right away, you know, but he was putting the nozzle on the edge of it. So when you're putting the nozzle on it, it's facing your head, right? And he had said, you turn it all the way. So I turn it all the way and it fucking blasts his face like hard, you know, because it's like full blast.
Yeah.
And his hat flies off. My dad was with this short man, like a little dirty gardener. And his hat flies off and he's like, cabrón, hija de la chingada, cuando te alcanza. And he starts running after me in this big ass mansion, this huge lawn. And it's just like out of a cartoon, a sitcom. I'm like running like full speed, like trying to get to my big brother, and he's running full speed behind me, but it's like a movie because it's so big, because it's these sprawling houses. So he's running. And then he goes to like put his hat back on. And when he went to put his hat back on, I think because it had been wet where he was on the grass, tas que se da un pinche chingadazo, he falls on his ass. Oh. He freaking falls. His legs like fly up. I'm like, I'm really going to get my ass beat now. But he falls. He gets up all pissed. I'm behind my brother screaming. And he's just like, no le va a pegar. No le va a pegar. Like, déjenlo en paz. No le va a pegar. And he just like cursed me to the high heavens and walked away. But that fool had gotten hit in the face with water. He fell on his ass chasing me. But talk about karma. But he wanted to beat me up. But the embarrassing thing was how he fell, obviously. But I was like, he is going to beat my ass at this house. But thank God my brother was like, no le va a pegar. And I always remember that he like had my back, you know. But my dad was fucking so embarrassed. At this point, he didn't beat me up because he's obviously embarrassed that he fell. After being embarrassed that he's all wet.
Oh my God.
Embarrassing
moments. My God. I know. See,
seeing our parents fall is
I love
sad
it.
and hilarious.
I know. I know.
Sad and hilarious at the same time. Like, are you okay? Or you're fine? ¡Ah! Una vez, mi papá se dio se le quebró la silla, güey.
Oh, that's got to be embarrassing. Like with him sitting in it?
So my mom had told him, viejo, esa silla se va a quebrar. Like, you know, like you need to get, like either double it up or something, because it was a plastic chairs that have the four little, you know, and the plastic chairs, like the legs looked like they were going to kind of slip open. And my mom's like, viejo, get another chair, please. Like, you're going to fall. And he's like, me vale madre, aquí esa silla me sí que no sé qué. Right? My dad being his grosero usual self back in the day. Well, still, to this day, whatever. He loves to say chingada madre. But my mom's like, hazlo, que do it. He's like, he got up for something. He's like, hago lo que me da la chingada gana a mí. You know, like he thought he was Bad Bunny before Bad Bunny came along, right? Hago lo que me da la gana. So my dad proceeds, I think I got enough to get another beer or something. He proceeds to like stomp his little fucking butt down again, the driveway, and then proceeds to sit down in the chair. My mom has been telling him to like, be careful. And se sienta y paz, the chair gave out. It didn't even just give out, like the legs broke off. My dad just like fell over. His beer poured on him, like, and it was like one of those things of like, oh my God, like fue karma o qué fue o pa que se le quite. But then at first it was like, oh, are you okay? And everyone's like, once we saw he was fine, we just laughed so hard. And it was hilarious because I had never seen my dad fall like that. His patas, and my dad has some thick old legs, okay? My dad's like thick. So I was like, oh my God, so you just saw his patas with his huaraches all in the air. Like, it was just something else. But that was hilarious. But he was even more upset then at my mom and us because we were laughing at him because the chair broke. And my mom had been warning him the entire time. Like, you could have prevented this if you just listened. But he didn't. But it was, I think my dad was like humiliated, embarrassed. But then recovered with the rage that he kind of just laid out for us. But that was so funny seeing him happen.
Oh my God, I know. My dad would get mad at my mom and I when we would like make fun of him. Se enojaba tanto, le daba tanto de coraje. Okay, well, that I think we can start wrapping up. Thank you for sharing your funny moments about yourselves, about our parents. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you have your own funny or embarrassing moments that you want to share, you know how to find us on Instagram and Facebook. Our handle is @leveluplatina. If you want to continue the conversation, send us a DM on those networks, platforms, or you can shoot us an email at admin@leveluplatina.com. And if you want to find out more about our collectives or GFS, check out our website, leveluplatina.com. And that's a wrap. I hope you're enjoying the summer series, short and sweet episodes. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. To my co-host, Vero e Irene. Un beso para todos.
Gracias.
Ciao, ciao.